Hi, I'm Shirley Lee with Entertainment Weekly, and I am here with Rachel Bloom, the star of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on the CW. Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm in the New York City press rush whirlwind.
Well, this morning was big for you. I mean, that Funny or Die video came out, the music video that everyone should check out, encouraging people to vote. It's a little NSFW.
Yeah, I don't know what really constitutes NSFW. I guess anything with any cursing in it?
I guess so.
It doesn't really count because where I work, it's everything we would do, I guess, would be NSFW because a writer's room is a,
Maybe
deplorable place.
Right. Maybe it should be NSFK, not safe for kids, but basically.
Sure.
Right? I don't know, the cursing.
Yeah, NSF, it has a lot of cursing.
So I know that you guys filmed this and edited this over basically
like
3 days.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, it's full of stars, but was there anyone that you really, really wanted to get in there?
Well, a lot of it is just we got people through personal connections. So I have a lot of friends, Jaime Camille from Jane the Virgin. I was so happy he could do it. Mayim Bialik, I was so happy she could do it, and Melissa Rauch, Felicia Day. So it was kind of a day to hang out with like relatively new friends. Although Felicia Day I've known for a couple of years now, and it was just it was a fun thing to make. I've never done political comedy songs before. It's not usually my thing because it's a very fine line of being funny and preachy, and it's like, what are you making the song for? And when we were talking about the song, I think acknowledging like, look, we're not trying to change the world with this song. We're not trying to suddenly make a Trump voter be like, I see the light. You're just not going to do that. How do we get people who still aren't going to vote, who are on the fence, to motivate them? And I always say, like, I'm very proud of the way the song came out, and the song was written by me, Jack Dolgen, who's on my writing staff, but primarily Zach Reno, who is a UCB writer and performer. And we had a big brainstorming session, sent Zach a structure, and then Zach really took that big pass of the song, and he really killed it. But something we talked about was just if we can just motivate like one person to go vote. And I just had this nightmare of like Trump getting elected, and I could have done something but didn't do anything. And I would always be wondering, what if I'd made that comedy video, And so I think that it's unlike anything that I've ever participated in, but I'm very proud of it.
When did the idea come to you? Was it? I mean, this was just a few weeks ago, then, right? Where you were thinking,
well, I was on the phone with
got to do something.
I was on the phone with a couple of people, and especially when it comes to anything topical or political, I just want to get ahead of it. Anything that didn't take itself too seriously, and so my mind went to, of course, "We Are the World," which is the most like, serious, self-serious song in the world, and the idea of doing a very self-aware song of almost being like, I didn't want to do this. This is trite. I know a recording studio is super trite, and I love that Zach put in that line. We already know whose side you'll end on. Facebook filters out dissension, because 9 times out of 10, if this video is getting shared on your feed, you're already probably towards the side of voting for Hillary. And so just a song that wouldn't have any false ideas about what it was important. And again, I've never really done a political comedy song before. I think political comedy is really hard to do because you either have to make a point no one else has made, which is getting harder and harder with the internet, or you have to do it in a way no one else has done it, because otherwise it comes off as just like preachy or cute. And it was a lot of work, and I'm really proud. I mean, Zach and Jack, my co-writers, while I was performing on the day they were in the booth, we recorded the vocals on the same day we filmed it, which was really a whirlwind, and Moby produced it as well, and who's a really, really cool guy. And then when we were thinking of who to direct, because I had no time, usually if this were a music video that I had time for, I would have kind of line produced and really overseen the edit. But I wanted to pick a director who I trusted, and that director happens to be my husband, who writes on my show, and he's directed a lot of my music videos before, and he knocked it out of the park, if I do say so myself. And he's also, even more so than I am, very, very, he's very politically aware, and very passionately left-wing.
Yeah, well, now that it's come out, have you been keeping up with responses to it? I mean, it was only out this morning.
Yeah,
so
a little bit. I've been doing a lot of shows today, but I've been checking the Twitter, and I think that people really like it. And again, we made a good song that I think reaffirms people feeling good about going to the polls. But I do hope that at least one person who thinks it's funny is like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go vote. You know, that's what I hope with all of this stuff.
Yeah, why only get the sticker when you can really appreciate a song too, you know?
It's also the thing that I can contribute to this is, you know, the thing that I'm already doing. And at the end of the day, we live in kind of two countries right now. There are just arguments in the way I see things that other people don't see things. And usually I like to use empathy as a way to reach out to people. But in this case, the Trump thing is really scary, and the parallels to Hitler, like, yeah, there are a lot of weird parallels. Not saying he is Hitler, not saying he wants to kill people en masse. It's just interesting parallels when you keep in mind history. I think I just heard someone laugh really loud.
That's okay.
I think when I said he doesn't want to kill people en masse. I mean, I don't know that. I don't think he does. Yeah. I don't know.
We got to be careful with this. This is live. No, it's all good.
I said I don't think so.
Well, if you get a chance, if you're online, obviously you're online if you're watching this, go check out the video. It just came out this morning. But now, seeing as we're talking about a split country, I'm going to segue this to how, Rachel, you are split between two guys on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
100 more important things. A juicy, sexy love triangle.
Yes, a love triangle.
Yeah.
Well, now
Trump and Hillary, more like one penis versus another penis.
What? What? I never made the connection. Anyway.
Who would be Trump and who would be... I'm not going to answer that.
I really want you to
With the Josh and Greg, who would be Trump and who would be Hillary? I don't, it's not analogous. Let's not do that, no.
No, but let's do, well, who would Rebecca vote for?
Oh, I mean, Rebecca's voting for Hillary, and yes,
here we go.
Of course.
Well, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about tonight's episode, because I know you have a song called about love triangles.
The Math of Love Triangles, indeed.
Yes, The Math of Love Triangles. It's very Marilyn Monroe-esque. Tell me a little bit about putting that together.
Well, this is one of my favorite episodes we've ever done, because the entire series has been kind of dancing around this idea of being torn between two people. And that's not the premise of the show, but it's one of the sub-running things of the show. Yes. And in many ways, tonight is fulfilling that. You know, the idea of like finally coming down to a choice and facing your own decisions. And I'm really excited about this episode. And when we were trying to think of what's a song, you know, Rebecca's conflicted, but she's also self-indulgent because she imagines that she's torn between two men. And I've been in a love triangle back when I was in college, and there is a sort of self-indulgent hubris that comes with it before everything just goes to hell.
Right.
And when I think like self-indulgent with a bunch of men around you, I think like an old-fashioned like Hollywood number with a bunch of men in suits, and I think Marilyn Monroe. I also watched every episode of Smash, and so that was in the back of my head. And so I'm really proud of this number, The Math of Love Triangles. I think it's one of the best songs we've ever done.
You just wanted to, you know, get Bombshell back out there. That's a Smash reference.
Yeah, it is. And I think it is coming to Broadway.
I think so. We got to keep up with that. I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh my God.
Right. But it's a fun musical number, but something... here's another segue.
Sure.
Something on the opposite end of fun is Greg's alcoholism.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought you were just going to be like, opposite of war. Let's talk about war.
What is it good for? Here, so yeah. As far as Greg goes,
sure.
You know, this show, obviously Crazy Ex-Girlfriend isn't like happy, everything, you know, is comedic all the time. Yeah. You've touched on dark topics before, just with Rebecca Psyche. About Greg here, what is, you know, how do you toe that line to keep him still funny, to keep his story still funny, but also touching on something weighty like his alcoholism?
I think that the thing that keeps the story funny was, especially in the last episode, that song, and it was a stroke of genius about. We were trying to think, well, what's a comedic? What's in some ways what's an anthem to getting sober? And what's a comedic way to do that? And the comedic way to do that is a drinking song.
Right.
That instead of making light of drinking, explores the realistic side of drinking. And I think that when you're looking for comedy songs, looking for juxtapositions like that, really, really help. And I mean, it's short of that, we just want to keep it real. And Greg is a funny character. He looks at the world in a funny way. He has a very cut to the point, you know, cut out the BS point of view. And I think within that is inherent comedy. but we want to explore it seriously because this is a character. The show is all about pursuing happiness. It's not ultimately about obsessive love. It's about, you know, when was the last time you were truly happy? What will it take for you to be truly happy? And for Greg, he is his own saboteur. You know, he sings a song, I Could If I Wanted To. He specifically says to Rebecca in the pilot, you're pretty smart and ignoring me, so you're obviously my type. And he's instantly smitten with her because she thinks she's not paying attention to him. And that comes from a deep sense of self-loathing and not really being in touch with who he is and what he wants. And so we've been planning this from the beginning, and he's on a journey.
Yeah. All those flashbacks that were put together in the montage that told you, oh yeah, he is an alcoholic. You just didn't totally follow it from the beginning. Now,
and the thing that I just want to say is we love that character, and the show is about pursuing happiness, and once someone's on that track, we want to treat that with gravitas, you know?
Right. Well, Paula is also on track. You know, she's trying to find happiness by applying to law school.
Yeah.
But she's also someone who makes Rebecca happy, their best friendship. So what are the implications of her pursuing something of her own without Rebecca? We're exploring that already a little bit on the show.
Yeah.
But how do you guys in the writer's room kind of think about that conundrum? Either Rebecca loses Paula, or Paula doesn't get her happiness.
We absolutely touch on this throughout the season. You know, Paula was living vicariously through Rebecca in so many ways. You know, the idea of this woman who went to law school, successful lawyer, she's making all of the, I mean, she says to her in the pilot, you know, you're braver than I was. And finally, Paula's actually she doesn't have to live vicariously through Rebecca anymore. And you already see that changing with the Josh contract. She doesn't want to talk about Josh anymore. Everyone around Rebecca is starting to look inward, except for Rebecca. Because to look inward would be terrifying. I've done it. I have looked inward and done that work. It's scary and it's hard, especially when you are someone like Rebecca who fundamentally does not like herself.
Right.
Which is why she's looking for all these external things, men, musical numbers, imagining herself in these fantasy sequences, all of these external things to define her. Whereas people like Daryl, Greg, Paula, even Josh to some extent are starting to like look inward and delve into those like nitty gritty gray areas and be like, okay, well, what actually makes me happy? What brings me joy?
And it's interesting that Rebecca's kind of the cause behind that,
Yeah,
right?
she's a pebble in a pond.
There you go.
As she does extreme things, she caused people to kind of question the things around them.
But we do have to also talk about the most elaborate number this season so far, the Beyonce parody with you in a cactus outfit.
Yeah.
I just want to know how hot was it in there? What do you remember from filming that? What was there a moment where you thought, oh God, we've gone too far?
I never think that, oh God, we've gone too far. I was so prepared because we went up to Vasquez Rocks, which is this beautiful place an hour and a half north of where we shoot. And I was like, okay, it's going to be 100 degrees. I'm in a cactus costume. So I was kind of just prepared for it, just chugging electrolytes throughout the day. I get more bitchy and heat when I don't prepare for it, but when I'm prepared, I'm like, okay, I know what I did to myself. I did this to myself. I am the one who wrote myself into a sexy fashion cactus, and so there's only a certain amount of rage and uncomfortability that I can have. But we've never done a number like that because pop music nowadays every pop song is trying to be its own thing. They all have slightly different sounds. The production is really interesting. They're all trying to kind of be these short films. So leaning into that artsy fartsiness, if you will, was really fun.
Yeah, just kind of, how did you get your inner Beyonce out there? Did you think about that, or were you just like, well...
Just watched a lot of Lemonade. I think especially the song Hold Up was really influential in making this song. I think just like, what's the combination of like pure emotion and then like visual metaphor? And then, I mean, I've always had this, I have this joke in my stand-up act where, this sounds so, I hated that I say that. I have a joke that I've been working on for a long time, the idea that nowadays in pop music, the videos are infinitely more interesting than the songs on which they're based. Like the song's just about like I love my boyfriend, but the video is just like space, the year 5000, like so interesting. And so the idea of kind of combining the two and making the lyrics reference the video itself. Because if Beyonce were dressed like a sexy fashion cactus, she wouldn't be like, I'm like a cactus. It would probably just be like, hey, why did you leave me? So in this, part of the comedy comes from calling out the linking the visuals to the lyrics.
Yeah.
I love Beyonce. Just want to say, love her.
No, yeah, absolutely. I do too. We're just all gonna say that we all love Beyonce right now.
Yes.
But you know what? To wrap up, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Is there one word or one clue you can tease for the rest of the season? Anything you can say at this point? Putting you on edge right here.
We know what we're doing. We have had a plan from the very beginning we pitched this show. We know how every season ends. We know how the series ends. We are never, ever flying blind with this show. Everything that comes in, every new element that comes in has a definitive purpose. Trust us.
Sounds good. Well, then we're going to wrap up on that note. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to watch the Funny or Die video that was posted this morning, and to watch
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is on tonight at 9 p.m. on the CW, 8 Central.
Go.
There we go.
All right. Well, now, thank you so much. I didn't mention this before, for coming to PopFest and performing.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
You said that you would be okay with playing a whore on Game of Thrones?
Dead whore.